Okay, so how about a little bit more intel on the Nestor Cortes situation? If you haven't heard, I put out a video earlier. Not only did he pull out of the World Baseball Classic, but the main reason he did is because he has a hamstring strain. And there are a couple different levels of hamstring strains, okay? Speaking from experience, not only did I have a tear of my hamstring a couple years ago as well, but I'm also a musculoskeletal flexibility therapist too, so I'm very familiar with this type of stuff. So I just want to give you a little bit of insight, okay? He has a grade 2, okay? Grade 1 is a mild strain. The recovery process is generally quicker. You need some rest and recovery, elevation, some flexibility work and stuff, and whatever else, physiotherapy or something like that you might need. The recovery table could be 2 to 4 weeks. Grade 2, which is basically a strain turning into a micro tear of one part of the hamstring or one part of the muscle, but just specifically a hamstring here, which is one of the more larger muscles in the lower body. And it works in unison with the gluteus maximus, which is the butt, and the gastrocnemius, which are the calf muscles, and on the flip side with the quadricep muscles, which is the front of your leg. So they work in unison together. And when there are imbalances in strength or flexibility or whatever, things can happen. Okay, he irritated it doing sprints. Okay, wind sprints, and it's not surprising. This, the hamstring is one of the muscles that help propel you forward when you're sprinting. And if you're not ready, you can easily irritate it, which is why a gradual progression back towards health is going to be important. Essentially, for a grade 2 strain, it could be 4 to 6 weeks recovery time on the low end, 6 to 8 on the high end before it becomes a tear, which is a grade 3, which is a complete tear of a part of the muscle or a hamstring, which the timetable for recovery can be a heck of a lot longer. I actually tore my right hamstring a couple years ago doing wind sprints as part of my martial arts training, and I was out for about 3 months before I got to full strength. So it is, and again, these guys are coming into spring training and to be building into the season. The season itself starts in less than 8 weeks. So just think of that timetable and keep it in mind. But the good thing is, in terms of insight, is it happened before he went to the World Baseball Classic. Okay, had he gone to the World Baseball Classic and been revving things up, he could have torn his hamstring out there and doing sprints or whatever, pitching, and that's when it could have created problems and he could have missed a couple of months of the season. We were already missing Frankie Montes, so this is where, it could be a blessing in disguise. So now, not that I'm happy that he strained his hamstring. Obviously, I'm happy he didn't become worse. So hopefully you find a little bit of relief in that and comfort in that. So, but I expect him to be back to full strength by the time the season starts, and then he'll get a ramp up period, even if it's a little bit delayed. He'll be okay. And again, it's not like he threw 200 innings last year either. He threw more innings than usual, so it's something to keep in mind as well. And again, if he's the 4 starter, which he likely will be, he'll get a little bit more range of motion. Again, sometimes these guys need a few starts into the season anyway to ramp things up, particularly guys that don't throw a ton of innings in the spring. So that's kind of the Nestor Cortez dynamic here. So grade 2 hamstring strain, anywhere from 4 to about 8 weeks recovery time. And again, it's going to be a combination of whatever, rest, flexibility, particularly active flexibility, which is a little bit different, a little bit more sports specific. I'm sure folks have heard of static stretches where you're just holding a stretch for a long period of time. That becomes uncomfortable. It creates micro tears as well. This is a little bit differently. This starts to pump blood into the muscle, and hopefully they're doing this. And I'm speaking from a 2 decades experience as a musculoskeletal flexibility therapist, so I know the difference between a static and active will be a heck of a lot more effective towards propelling his recovery forward, and I hope these guys are doing that. And if you see these guys stretching with like the ropes, the bands, that's active flexibility, okay? It pumps blood into the muscles. It helps to speed up the recovery process, so it helps get past pulls and tears and stuff like that. So, but that's the insight and the intel on Nestor Cortes right now. I wanted to get you the updated information on him. I will be giving you updates on everything, any type of update that comes out towards Nestor Cortez and his recovery. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, be sure to do that right now before you leave, and that way you don't miss anything. And obviously I will be giving you the insight on everything else. Pitchers and catchers themselves report Thursday the 16th. Position players report next Monday the 20th, and their first game is the following Tuesday the 26th, or something like 20th or 20, something like 26th. I don't know what day that is. So I think it might be Sunday actually. But so those are the 3 dates: pitchers and catchers, position players, and the first game. So things ramp up pretty quickly, and sometimes guys get hurt early in the offseason if they haven't done either enough of certain types of things in the offseason, or maybe done too much, or or an imbalance of stuff. And that's what happens with flexibility and strength when you have an imbalance somewhere. If the calves or if your hamstrings are much weaker than your quads, which happens often. Quads are a braking mechanism. It slows you down when you're running fast. Your hamstrings help propel you forward. When they're connected to the butt, they're the 2 biggest muscles in the lower body. behind the leg and the back end of the knee, then things can happen. Okay, so that's why it's important for them to have a good flexibility program. And he's already gotten some massage work, so he'll continue to get that, and he'll get some, probably stim and some other physiotherapy as well. So, and to aid him in his recovery process. But I wanted to give you a little bit more insight into the Nestor Cortez recovery and injury. It's a grade 2 strain of the hamstring, which is not as bad as grade 3, obviously. In grade 3, that's what we want to avoid, the full tear. Okay, and again, hamstrings, he's a pitcher. These guys use their lower bodies. And when you think about it, when they're going like this and propelling themselves forward, or that way, if he's a lefty, they're using quad and hamstring and adductor and abductor, which is the inside the groin and everything else. So these muscles work in unison together. So it's important to have things fired up on all cylinders and a good balance of strength and flexibility everywhere. So that's what I got for you right now. I will keep you posted on anything else, even if it comes out later today. But I'll talk to you guys later.